How solid is this ceasefire, first of all?
Yeah, it's going to come into effect in about 2 hours' time. The defense minister here in Israel made a warning, and he basically said to Hamas, if you step over the line and you break the ceasefire, then we're going to go back to operations again. This was signed off within the past 2 hours by Israel's security cabinet, unanimous vote. But even while they were in that cabinet session meeting, Israeli Air Force was still targeting Hamas targets in Gaza, and there were still incoming missiles here as well, even in Ashdod. So, you know, I think people are sort of holding their breath at the moment. They're hoping that this goes through, but the sort of ground reality is going to get tested in 2 hours' time. If there's any significant breaks after that, then the whole thing could unravel pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, and history tells us with the last couple of conflicts, Nick, that some of the heaviest bombing can come before a ceasefire comes into effect. How are things at the moment?
You know, right at this moment, it's quiet. You know, half an hour ago, we were hearing Israeli jets overhead. The sirens went off here about 2 hours ago. You could hear explosions in the distance maybe 2 hours, an hour and a half ago. So, you know, I think right now, in this location, relatively calm. Right around the edge of Gaza, the Israeli Defense Forces are telling people around their residents in Israel to not go out into the open, to stay close to their shelters, because there's a real concern there could be escalation there. Ben Gurion Airport, the main airport just outside of Tel Aviv, that is shut for tonight as well. That's an indication that the Israeli authorities are worried that there could be a real rush of Hamas rockets towards Tel Aviv and on towards Ben Gurion. So, you know, there is a readiness to do this and a hesitancy to really fully trust the other side. Everyone's, as I say, people are standing back and waiting.
Nick, who's going to claim victory here? I mean, Israel will more than likely say, you know, that it's taken out these Hamas targets. Hamas will say that it's given worldwide exposure to its cause. So has anybody won?
Look, I think it's widely seen that Hamas has been able to get a political victory over the sort of other main Palestinian group in Israel that are dominant in the West Bank, Fatah, because Hamas has been able to, essentially, by what's happening here in Gaza, they came out in support of people in Israel, people in Jerusalem, rather, for what was happening there in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood, where Palestinian families were facing eviction, for the sort of heavy-handed Israeli police activity in the Al-Aqsa Mosque right around the end of Ramadan, a very sensitive time. So certainly Hamas is claiming that it's sort of been able to raise its banner in other Palestinian neighborhoods, that it's being supported by Palestinians outside of Gaza, and that's what it's looking for. It's looking for greater legitimacy within the Palestinian community and internationally. But absolutely, we've heard from the defense minister here in Israel, who said that they've unquestionably reached many of their targets and unquestionably damaged and pushed Hamas back into the past. Yes, of course, both sides are going to claim victory here, and that's what they're doing.
All right, CNN's international correspondent Nic Robertson. Appreciate your time as always on a very busy evening. Thanks again, Nick. Talk to you soon.